today we are diving into a really powerful story from Hindu mythology. This one has it all: a cosmic crisis, a birth that's nothing short of a miracle, and a huge epic battle that's actually, well, it's really about the struggle between wisdom and ego. So, to really get what this story is all about, we've got to start with the puzzle at its core. And it's a big one. Think about this. How do you defeat something or someone that's truly invincible? This very question once sent the entire universe spiraling into chaos. All right, so let's set the stage. A universe in peril. The crisis that kicked this whole thing off, it wasn't just some small disagreement. No, we're talking about a massive cosmic power imbalance that had all of reality teetering on the edge of total collapse. Okay, so you had two sides. On one hand, you've got the gods, the devas, and they are completely powerless, just being tormented. But on the other side, you have the demons, led by these two figures, Sorapadman and Tarakasur. And they weren't just strong, they were basically unbeatable, all because of this incredibly clever blessing they'd received. The demons knew that Bhagwan Shiva was grieving the loss of his wife and had become an ascetic, totally withdrawn from everything. So the idea of him having a child, it just seemed completely impossible. This made their boon, in their minds, an ironclad guarantee of absolute, unstoppable power. And this belief system, this was their whole philosophy, something their mother, Maya, taught them. Basically, the material world is all that matters. Power and wealth are the ultimate goals. So, armed with this worldview and their newfound invincibility, what do? They went on a rampage, conquering the mortal world, taking over the heavens, and they even enslaved the gods. So, things are looking pretty bleak. They go to Shiva, begging for help. And his answer, it was something that absolutely no one, especially the demons, could have ever seen coming. What happens next is just incredible. To get around that tricky condition in the boon, a fiery seed emerges from Shiva's third eye. But it's so incredibly powerful that no single being can handle it. So first it goes to Agni, the god of fire. Then he passes it to Ganga, the river goddess. She carries it to the sacred Saravana pond, and there it transforms into 6 divine babies. And these babies are then looked after by 6 angels, the Karthagai Pengal. And this is where it all comes together in this really beautiful moment. Ma Parvati, Shiva's consort, sees these 6 children and just gathers them all up in a single, loving hug. And in that one instant, they all merge into one single being with 6 heads, Shanmuga, the hero they've all been waiting for. You know, this totally unique origin story is actually reflected in his many, many names. Each name tells a different part of the story. It's like a tribute to every single divine being who had a hand in his creation, from the Karthigai angels who raised him to the gods like Agni and Ganga who carried his divine essence. So our hero is born, but you can't just send him off to fight a supposedly invincible army, right? The entire pantheon, all the gods, they get together to arm him, to get him ready for what is truly the battle of a lifetime. First up, his mother, Ma Parvati, gives him his most iconic weapon, the Vel. Now, pay close attention to this, because as we're about to find out, this is so much more than just a spear. It's literally the embodiment of divine knowledge. Then his father, Bhagwan Shiva, he doesn't just give him one weapon, he gives him a whole arsenal. We're talking 11 different divine weapons, a bow, an arrow, a trident, everything he could possibly need to handle any physical threat. And Bhagavan Vishnu steps in too. He gives him this special garland. And what it does is it multiplies the wearer's strength, like, many times over. So he's already strong, but this just makes him an absolutely formidable warrior. And for the finishing touch, the sun god, Surya, gives him the chariot Manavegam. And get this, its special power is that it moves at the speed of thought. I mean, literally as fast as you can think. So with all this gear, our hero was finally ready. Okay, so now we're at the battle for reality itself. Fully armed, totally geared up, the young god Karthikeya marches on the demon capital Vera Mahendrapuri. It's time to finally face Surapadman and put an end to his reign of terror. So in this final showdown, Surapadman just throws everything he's got at Karthikeya. He uses all these illusions, this Maya that his mother taught him, but none of it works. So in a last-ditch effort, he turns himself into this giant mango tree to hide. But Karthikeya isn't fooled for a second. He throws his vel, and it just splits the tree into two perfect halves. And out of those pieces, Suryapadman reforms, but this time as a peacock and a rooster. And with just a single loving glance, Kartikeya tames them both, just like that. Now, this is the really important part. Kartikeya doesn't actually kill Suryapadman. Instead, in this amazing act of mercy, he destroys the evil inside the demon. He transforms his very being. So the peacock becomes his vehicle, his vahana, and the rooster becomes the symbol on his battle flag. He didn't destroy his enemy, he transformed him. And that brings us to the real heart of the story, the big takeaway, because this whole battle, it wasn't just good versus evil. No, it was a deeply symbolic fight, one that represents a struggle we all face. Think about those two forms the demon took at the end. They weren't just random animals. The peacock, with all its beautiful, showy feathers, that represents vanity, that possessive part of ourselves. And the rooster, always puffing out its chest, well, that stands for arrogance and that kind of aggressive self-assertion. So you put those two together, the peacock and the rooster, and what do you get? You get the ego, that part of us that is so easily blinded by the illusions of the material world, or Maya, exactly like Suryapadman was by his mother's teachings. And this is where the story's timeless message really shines through. The killing of Suryapadman with the vel, it's a powerful symbol for destroying our own ego. But not with force, not with violence, but by using the sharp edge of knowledge and wisdom. So let's go back to our original question. How do you defeat invincibility? Well, the answer wasn't more power or a bigger army. The answer was the veil. It's not just a weapon. It is knowledge. It is wisdom. It's the only tool sharp enough to cut right through all the illusions of vanity and arrogance that our egos build up. So you see, the story of Murugan isn't just some ancient myth. It's really a roadmap for an inner battle that we all fight. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about in our own lives. If the vel represents wisdom, what are the illusions that you need to see through? What are the mango trees we all hide behind? And what illusions do we need our own wisdom to cut through?